Is that good, Winnie? Hi, baby. Hi. Hi. Hey, Winnie, will you be my Valentine? Oh, you just want to lay down? You're going to roll over for your belly? Oh, my goodness. Okay, you got to make room for me, though. Can you sit up? Okay, first, can you come up here and then say hi to everybody? Say, hey, everybody. High five. High five? No, because I don't have a treat. Can you say hi to everybody? You're the best doodle in the world, huh? The best Winnie doodle. Say hi, everybody. She got a bath, and we combed her out wet, but we need to comb her out again dry, and then she'll get super fuzzy like a cotton ball. But yeah, she definitely needs to be combed out again. Ha! Okay, scooch over. Hey everybody, welcome back to Kelly Barlow Creations. If you're new to my channel and you're stopping by for the first time, thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. Stick around a while by clicking that red button for more crafting on a budget, more everything on a budget videos to come. And if you click it again when the bell appears, YouTube should notify you every time I upload a new video, depending on the option that you choose. Yes, in the drop-down menu of the bell. If you're interested in following me on social media, you can find those links, you guessed it, in the description box below. What have I got going on for you for today? Yes, this is a bit of a different video, but it's one of those videos where I'm kind of taking you along on this new chapter of my life. And along with that comes with doing some things that I hadn't really done in the past, but I'm doing them now. What is that? Yard work. Yes, I've always loved gardening. That's something that I've done before, but have I really ever gotten down and done some of the big yard work that needs to be done, say around this time, right before spring comes? Not really. I think that was something a gardener used to do. I'm not gonna pay a gardener when I can do it myself using a hedger and a blower. Who knew I would love gardening as much as I do? My word, did I have fun seeing the before and the results of after when doing my yards and getting them ready for spring. I can't wait to show you how easy it is to do it. So I'm gonna quit my gabbing. Let's jump into it. Let me take you along with me while I clean up my backyard. And it needs it because everything is overgrown right now. Let's get to it. Before we jump into today's video, guess who's back? Kayla Creations. Yes, this is where Kayla does a funny voiceover on one of my DIYs. So if you're in need of a good laugh, you'll want to head on over to her channel after today's video. Guess where you can find the link to her video today? Yes, in the description box below. Let's get started. Here is a quick preview of the backyard. Although some might say it doesn't look horrendous, in my opinion, it's very overgrown and it's been a bit neglected. And so this just needs to be fixed. This side doesn't look bad, but all this is gonna die when the new stuff comes in. Therefore, it's gonna make these bushes look, or these plants look even worse. And as I'm looking at this picture, yep, there are some signs there up on the wall that need to come down because those are not mine. Those are somebody else's who no longer lives here. This side, pretty bad. You can tell it's been about a year and a half since these have been maintained. And so we are going to remedy this. And I am super excited because I've got some new yard tools that I can't wait to break in. Hands down, one of my favorite gifts I got this year were these Carhartt gloves. These are a working glove from Kayla and Allie. They've got the rubber hands, palms in them, which is amazing. I wear gloves all the time, and so these are perfect for yard work. I am using a hedger to cut down all of my plants. This is a hyper tough hedger. This is a 22-inch cordless hedger that I got at Walmart, and I paid about $80 for it. Now, if you want to get an electric hedger, you're gonna pay a bit less, But honestly, I really wanted to go the cordless route because one, it's easier just to keep the batteries charging, and two, it is just a pain to have a long enough extension cord going along with you everywhere you go, or having to refill a gas-powered one. And so for me, cordless was the way to go. It was worth the investment of $80. I think after I do my yards, this hedger will have paid for itself, in all honesty. Now, when I am going about doing my plants, I really am just going down and cutting them straight down. I did Google and research when it was okay to cut down these plants and how short I could go with them, because I didn't want to put them in shock. I didn't want to kill them so they didn't come back. But according to Google and what I have seen other neighbors do in the past, it is safe to go ahead and cut these down. I am doing this a little bit late in the game. You're really supposed to do this at the beginning of January when your plants are more dormant. But you know what? I'm a gambling girl, and so I'm gonna go ahead and do it because I like risk and these need it. So if some of these plants don't come back, then I guess they don't come back and I'll worry about it then. But I think I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna think positively, and yes, and I'm gonna cut all these down. This tool is amazing for shaping them all too. You can shape them so nicely and so easily. The smaller batteries, I will tell you, last about 35 to 40 minutes. The larger batteries that come with the cordless tools lasted about an hour and a half. And I did invest in 2 extra batteries, so that way when I am doing yard work and the battery dies, I can go ahead and switch them out and recharge the used ones and use the ones that were just charging, and that way it just kind of keeps the job moving. I'm kind of that way when it comes to doing things, but I'm excited to do this and just really get this yard looking clean, leaf-free, and yeah, ready for spring. So yeah, in doing this, I started to realize that I'm not a huge fan of rocks when having to clean the yard waste out of them. Oh my word, it's a nightmare. It really is hard to do. Yes, later on I started to catch on that a blower would be better, but keep in mind I am in my backyard and I have a pool. So while there is so much yard waste around these plants that were so overgrown, I just have to bite the bullet, pick up most of it with my hands, and use this metal rake that I guess it's a more flexible end, so that way I can rake out the yard waste and it doesn't really take the rocks out along with it. You will see though throughout this process that I do end up picking some of the rocks out of the yard waste because I don't want to have to buy new rocks. And so, yeah, I want my planters to stay full of rocks. But you can see just how easily, once you cut the bushes, how easy it is to kind of clean them up before you use, I guess, the rake and the blower. Most of it, you know, you can get up, but of course there's the dead stuff. And I am learning that whatever the bigger plant there is in the middle, I absolutely just dislike these. They are a pain in the butt to cut down, and they have a lot of really, I guess, dead leaves on them. And I really don't know what the name of this plant is. Jeff is the one who put most of these plants in, and as they look really pretty in the spring and summer, and they have some really pretty flowers, these are a pain in the butt to groom, I guess I'm gonna say, to cut down in shape. You can't really shape them at all. I will tell you though that these plants are plants that you can actually dig up chunks of it and you can replant it in another area. And they've got these bulbs at the bottom, and as they grow bigger, you can actually break it apart and disperse it if you wanted to. And so this plant has been dispersed several times and used in our front yard. But yeah, you can see just all the dead rubbish, that's what I'll call it, rubbish, that comes along with this plant. And it just makes a hot mess on fake grass, turf grass. That's what we have because we were trying to have a drier landscape and not use as much water. And with a little bit of work, look at the after. Looks amazing. I'm so super happy. I did totally take the hose and hose down the rocks because they were a bit dirty and muddy and I wanted them to look like rocks again. Before and after. I'm gonna say there's quite a bit of a difference there, and using a hedger is all I used. For those of you who might be worried about me killing my plants, thinking I'm butchering them, I promise you I'm not. This is a plant from my front yard that I did 2 weeks ago. And in only 2 weeks, you can see that the plant is already growing back. And because I cut it down so low, I think it's gonna thrive and it's gonna grow back bigger, stronger, and better than it was before. Yes, I did my whole front yard, so I will show you that later. This is actually, that was a society garlic. I think this might be a society garlic too, and that is one of my favorite plants because I absolutely love the smell of garlic. But you can totally see that that dead ball is actually going to be something green and beautiful, and I'm so happy to see it already sprouting. I tell you, I found that the society garlics were actually the easiest to cut down because they were so easy to clean up. It just kind of fell to the side of the plant. They were the easiest to shape, and you can see just how quickly I was able to do each of the plants. There is something really satisfying about watching this as I'm editing it because it really is easy and the outcome is amazing. And so I say if you're worried that you can't do your yard work or trim down your plants like this, you should definitely try because look at that. Yep, that easy. Ah, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Clean and simple, before and after. Something very satisfying about that. This is the side of our house here where I have jasmine. And I want to say I have about 12 jasmine plants because I absolutely love the smell of jasmine. Regular jasmine, Carolina jasmine. I have plants throughout my front yard and my backyard because I just love them. I love the way it grows and how it climbs. But the path going to my shed is a little bit disrupted because the jasmine is a little bit unruly. So I'm gonna take that hedger and I am just gonna clean it up, making my pathway to the shed clear. Yes. Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. The worst part of doing this was raking up the dead leaves under each of the plants because there was so much, and actually doing it in the rocks. I really love the look of rocks, but boy oh boy, I was not a fan of them yesterday when I was doing this. Much better, progress. I say if doing your whole yard is too much to do at one time, do a section at a time or a bush at a time. This is before and after. Sorry about the glare. I don't know what was going on. I think it must have been the time of day, but you can see that there is a clear difference and I am super happy with how this looks. This here is a section outside of one of my living rooms. And I think that these are a type of rose bush. I really don't know. The flowers look a little bit different than roses, but they're huge and they're just a hot mess. So I am just taking some clippers that I bought at Walmart. I want to say that these were maybe $25. They're a heavier dutier clipper where the handle extends or retracts, which was really nice. So you can actually change the length of it. And I really am going to be honest, I don't know much about trimming or pruning rose bushes, but I'm just going for it and just doing what I think is going to look good because, again, I want everything to look simple and clean and smaller, not so overgrown. At this point, my back was starting to hurt. I was getting a little tired because I decided to knock this out in one day. I don't have the time to do a little bit here and a little bit there. I knocked out the front yard in one day and it really did take me all day. I want to say it took me like 8 or 9 hours to do it. And so I had set today aside, or this day aside, to do the backyard because, again, it's getting late in the season and I knew I needed to get this done. And so now, yeah, instead of standing, I'm actually on my knees because the bending over was just killing me. I've ran out of room in my trash bins. And so, yes, it is time to pull out the black trash bags and start filling those up because I'm gonna get this done today. If I could sing, I'd totally sing to you right now because I'm so happy with the outcome. Before and the after, and I just had to show you, there is some kind of an orb or something in this picture with a rainbow on it. Not quite sure what happened, but nonetheless, that is really stinking cool. The last section that I'm gonna show you is on the opposite side of the pool, opposite of the planter that I just did. And this is a very long planter. This goes the full length of the backyard. And so there were quite a few plants that needed cutting down, as you can see. And so, again, just taking my hedger, I went to town and cut everything down. I will say I started this at 8 in the morning and I finished at, I want to say 5:30, 5:45 at night that same day. I was beat. Can you say chiropractor, Kelly? Yep. That is definitely an appointment that I'm going to be making, a couple of them for next week. And there you have it, before and after of this section here. Night and day difference, couldn't be happier. This here is a planter right by the pool here, and that asparagus fern was just all over the place. And so I went ahead and cut that down, and I have learned that I am not a big fan of asparagus fern. When you cut them, oh my word, does it make a hot mess, and they're very prickly. Here is the other side of my yard. I didn't show cutting all this down because it really was pretty much just one and the same of everything that I had been doing, but it is done, it is amazing, and I'm gonna tell you, I feel amazing. I feel so accomplished, and there's just something really satisfying about doing it yourself. Here is, I gotta show you, a makeshift fence that I actually made because Winnie likes to go swimming. And she likes to jump in the pool when we are not there, only she doesn't know the difference between the deep end and the shallow end, and she can't navigate to which end is which. And so it really does scare us because she gets tired and stops paddling, and then she starts sinking and we have to jump in and get her. And so to prevent her from going into the pool, I made this makeshift fence out of 2x4s and pots and just cemented them into the pot. And I used some chicken wire, and this is something that can be taken down and thrown away. And it was only for the bargain price of like $80 that I made this fence. And so yeah, it did what it needed to do. This is my front yard that I did a couple of weeks ago, and you can see that my paintings are still on my window. I need to take those down, but I wanted you to see that I really did conquer both the front and the backyard just using a hedger and a blower. And I needed some clippers for my rose bushes, but for the most part, I got away with doing it with just those two tools that I bought at Walmart, saved myself a ton of money, and at the end of the day, that feels good. I know it was a bit of work, but when I can look at my yard and say that I did it myself, there's no feeling like it. Oh my goodness, there is something so satisfying about seeing how beautiful, how clean my yards and my planters look now. Cutting down all of those overgrown bushes was so satisfying. Seeing how amazing they look after, and just using that blower to blow everything out of the rocks and the planters was amazing. This is definitely a task that I wasn't sure that I was up for, but again, it was one of those things that I was challenging myself. I was stepping outside of my comfort zone because I really wanted to do this myself. I wanted really just to save money, honestly, at the beginning, but then once I did it, I just thought, wow, this looks great and it feels really great. And it's really rewarding to see the end result and know that I did it. These tools were so easy to work with, and I knew when I bought them that I definitely wanted to go the cordless route because I had seen gas ones before and I wasn't much a fan of them. Didn't want to go the electric route because I didn't want to worry about hundreds of feet of extension cord being attached to them. And so when I went to Walmart and I saw this brand, and it was all on sale, I thought, you know what, self, I'm gonna do it, because when I had a gardener come and give me a quote for what it was gonna cost me to have my yards done, he told me $600. And I just thought, oh no, self, we are not paying that. It's gonna be a bit of work, but I'm gonna do it because I'm not paying that much money. I really thought it was gonna be harder than it was, and to my surprise, it wasn't nearly as bad or as hard as I thought it was gonna be. Once I discovered the blower and how you could just blow everything out of the planters, from there it was downhill, it was easy peasy, and I will be doing my yards from here on out every year, getting ready for spring. I hope you all enjoyed coming along with me as I did my backyard. You saw how my front yard turned out. I did that just a week ago. Got a pinched nerve in my neck to prove it, but thank goodness for chiropractors, right? I guess that just means I worked really hard in my yards. That's what I'm gonna go with. I hope that you all enjoyed today's video, and maybe I inspired you or somebody to go out and try and do your own yard work yourself. There's something very therapeutic about it, if you ask me. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and let's get this video to 5,000 likes. Because like I always say, each and every one of your thumbs up and those comments that you do leave down below, they really do help my channel to grow, and it helps YouTube to notice me just a bit more. Until next time, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy gardening on a budget. Stay happy, stay safe, stay healthy, but most of all, stay positive, please, because I am. Bye for now, everybody.